Well, it's the 26th of March 2020, and I just saw a meme on Facebook. 1st of January 2020. This is going to be my year. 23rd of March 2020. Wiping my bum with the lid of a pot noodle. Thankfully, there are so many mood-lifting memes and songs going around at the moment. It's kind of the best of everything at the moment, isn't it? In some strange ways, of humour and compassion and kindness and so on, in the kind of worst of times. Tonight we're looking at mitigation, mushrooms, mutts, and I've forgotten the other M now. Oh, meditation. Yeah, because Louisa, who's with me now, next to me, on the Portugal Pillow Talk podcast. Do you want to start with that? Because the live streaming craze and phenomenon continues in the Munson household, and you did a meditation thing.
Yeah, guided meditation with hypnosis or hypnotic streams in. I was a bit nervous because I've never done a live guided meditation. I have to one person at a time, or in a group that I'm present with, so I can always check in with what's happening to the people that I'm working with. But this is the first time I've done it live across the stream where I couldn't possibly see anyone that's doing it. And it's completely...
So into the ether.
Yeah, and it's completely unscripted as well. So,
reckless almost.
Yeah. It's kind of reckless. I mean, people can't really come to any harm. It's just words. And I'm just leading them to a nice place, basically. And, right at the start, I say if it's difficult or if you're not comfortable or if you need to wake up, you can, so it's not really reckless, but it's just my reputation that could...
You're playing fast and loose with your reputation.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just felt really compelled to do it. And yesterday I was doing a live stream about astrology, about truths and lies and what we can know and how we can find peace. And as I was talking about it, I started suggesting different sort of visuals and how we might want to relax into it. And then just said, look, if anyone out there would like to actually do this kind of meditation, let me know. And I had 2 people that asked for it, so I popped it online.
Which is the rule, isn't it? If 2 or more people ask for it,
I actually said if one person did, I would
enough,
do
isn't
it.
Yeah,
because if it makes a difference to one person, then that's a job well done. I think in these times, sure, I'd love to reach thousands of people, but if I'm able to, I don't know, help just one person relax,
I think that's fair enough.
That's a job well done, I think.
Well, on the matter of meditation, because both you and I have got meditations up on Insight Timer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might be thinking, I want to learn how to meditate now in this lockdown time. Can't recommend Insight Timer enough. And not just, our things on there, but there are hundreds of teachers on there, thousands of teachers possibly around the world, and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of meditations and meditators that are enjoying Insight Timer, which is free at the basic level. So if you're thinking of trying meditation, or if you're a meditation teacher and you're looking for a new outlet and you want to record some new material, Insight Timer is a cracking platform.
Yeah, it's really good. You get quite good exposure as well.
Yeah, really good. And even you can take donations as well, I think.
Yeah, I've earned some money from that.
Yeah?
And, not much, but...
Kept that quiet.
I can't retire on it.
Okay.
I have made some earnings on it.
Well, that's the funny thing. You should say that, because can't retire on it is quite a...
Can't retire on anything, can you?
prescient statement, isn't it, at the moment? Because I think what's going on with the financial collapse is so connected with people's pensions and, what might be left as the investment funds and pension funds. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to all of that at the moment. Crazy economic stuff going on. I mean, goodness knows, it would be so much easier to do universal basic income right now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of all these kind of complicated benefits, just I think pretty much everyone's bank details.
If you did UBI, you could get rid of a load of civil servants that cost a flipping fortune, couldn't you?
Well, or looking at it another way, those people could just enjoy their lives differently.
Yeah.
Unless they really liked
But
doing
what I mean
intense
is like
bureaucracy.
the whole system is really, really intense with bureaucracy. You know, and that costs a lot. And it's a great way of hiding money as well, isn't it?
It was the M for money within this podcast, because we do an alliterative approach. So money is in there as well. M for money. My suspicion.
We have M for moaning. We've both done a bit.
Done a
of
lot
moaning.
of that. You always do a lot of that on this one. This is, by the way, this is the kind of contrast or light relief, possibly, or dark relief, sometimes to the Good Morning Portugal live stream that I do in the morning, which is an update about what's going on with the coronavirus and COVID-19 in Portugal. Yep, coughing again. I can't help it now. I kind of auto-suggest to like, don't cough, and then obviously you cough. So, this is our personal podcast about, how we're coping as a family in Portugal. We're fairly new to be living life in Portugal, and now this whole thing's come along, and our previous podcasts were all about, oh wow, crazy positive adventure for this family. It's like, well, okay, this is now the family diary of how they're coping with this curveball that's come their way. But it's quite a useful outlet, and do join us, shout out as you kind of unpack your day and debrief, because I think that's important at the moment as well, for people to really kind of fess up about what's going on for them as well. Oh, we did that quite brutally with each other, didn't we, yesterday?
Yeah.
We've had our first domestic Barney situation.
Coronavirus Barney.
The Corona Crunch we had, didn't we, yesterday?
Yes.
First bit of friction, relationship friction, but we're out of it now. I think within, 24 hours? Wasn't so bad, was it?
No.
We went into a relationship quarantine, which really helped. But it's inevitable, I suppose, in a way, isn't it? Because we're finding out by being everyone. I mean, we spend a lot of time together anyway, but I dread to think what some people are going through with being together.
I mean, we're lucky. In the 9 years we've been together, we've spent nearly every single day together.
Like an old-fashioned couple.
Yeah, we are kind of old-fashioned, aren't we? And we've never really been further than 20 kilometres away from each other either, apart from a couple of times when you've visited family on your own, like in another country. But we are nearly always very, very close to each other.
A bit too close sometimes for comfort. She's corpsing everybody. Don't know why. Don't know what's wrong with the woman.
Because you just farted.
A professional would have just glossed over that.
Oh, have you got new shoes? You got squeaky shoes.
Yeah, but you can't really be doing a podcast from bed and say you've got your shoes on, can you? Them squeaky new trainers. But I'm a bit disappointed in you.
I don't think you meant to do that, did you?
I didn't mean to do it. I just didn't mean
that you didn't mean to do it so loudly.
I didn't imagine for a moment that you would bring it to everybody's attention and
I didn't
cause
need
me
to. Everyone heard it.
Well, you were talking about people's reputations earlier on, your reputation, and now mine's shot to pieces. Possibly. Yeah. So both people who listen to this podcast might be utterly disgusted with me.
Oh
and for that, I apologise. I apologise. So
I think our echo chamber, audience of two, will be fine with that.
Don't need the echo on that. Yes, bit of a Barney. Overcome that. All is well.
Yeah.
Again, and I did an interview with a guy today who was talking about resolving family trauma, and a lot of interesting stuff. Actually, he talked about stories. That we have stories. A lot of what we think is made up. It's just an aversion of events, a version of events, not an aversion to events. Although it could be that as well.
It could be.
But, our stories are just our interpretations of the facts so often, and we believe them like they're the gospel truth, and it gets us and other people into so much trouble.
That's what I was talking about yesterday in my sort of truth and lies sort of video, astrologically.
You did a truth and lies video?
Yeah, kind of like truth and lies. And
authenticity.
How do you know what to believe at the moment? Because people are so
stories.
certain. Yeah, everyone's got these stories, and I don't think anyone can know, and I don't think anyone actually does know, because it's multi-layered. Everything is really multi-layered. And you speaking about family trauma and stuff, I've spoken to both our mums today.
Talking of family traumas,
well, and also
you've
that
spoken to both our mums,
and also that M was the word for today.
M for mother.
And it wasn't traumatic speaking to either of them. It was really nice that we were able to support them.
That's right. It's the external enemy really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think, I mean, that is definitely another feature of the times, isn't it? It's like, this invisible enemy, an external enemy.
Everyone talks about it like we're in a war.
Yeah, that's the vocabulary, isn't it? Or the metaphor. M for metaphor. Because I think all these stories and interpretations.
It's like Sesame Street, isn't it? Are we going to do different letters every day?
This podcast has been brought to you by the letter M. Today. It's not that funny.
It is that you can just reel off Sesame Street.
We've woken the baby up now, do podcasting in bed again. Dear, oh dear. M for milk. For the little fella. Yeah, mitigation. This is the third and most serious phase of dealing with corona as the sort of within the protocols around the world, and that's what's happening in Portugal at the moment. And the cases and the deaths are going up here. And on the one hand, there's this sense of escalation because of the mitigation phase, but also on the other hand, you get this sense of like this is the new normal. Isn't it? It's really interesting how humans get used to things.
Yeah.
And I know that the president is considering whether to extend the state of emergency from the 2nd of April, and that looks very likely.
Yeah,
I think that's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So although this severe and shocking stage has been announced, and the figures are on the up and up, at the same time, this seems to be. We've kind of settled into like how it is, haven't we? I mean, it's easier for us because we're out in the sticks and not that much changes anyway. But yeah,
our meals are going to start getting a little less exciting soon. We're out of cereal. We got porridge. We're almost down to our last egg.
Okay.
There's a few things that we are quite comfortable having in our lives that. We're going to have to do without. I think...
I don't suppose it'll do us any harm.
No.
Although it might feel like it at a time.
No, I mean, like, we're going to be running out of coffee at some point, aren't we? And maybe not just yet, but...
I should start grinding up acorns.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, because we've got a massive stack of acorns, haven't we?
I should start grinding up... nettles.
Is it going to be like when you're 5? I mean,
dog poo.
I remember
lots of that.
Yeah, I remember when I was 5, like me and a mate, like picking some grass, rolling it in a sheet of paper and lighting it, pretending we could smoke.
At 5?
Yeah, 5 or 6. We were pretty young.
And it was Kent. Let's face it.
Yeah, exactly.
The mean streets.
Yeah, the mean streets of Medway. Another M. But. We are going to start improvising quite a bit. I just imagine we're going to be using, we're going to be making lots of cabbage soup. Even though,
wait.
We already have started, haven't we?
Sounds like it from earlier on.
But but I've also cabbage is featuring quite heavily at the moment, isn't it?
Because God.
I made. We harvested the sauerkraut tonight. We let that out.
Is that in for marinade almost?
It could be, yeah. Kind of burped all our fermented products today, which is kind of...
It sounds like such an appealing way of life.
Yeah, burping the garlic
the
every
fermented
day.
products, yeah.
I fermented some lemons today, which will be good. And marmalade. I've prepared to make fermented marmalade, which sounds gross.
It does sound terribly grim.
We've got a load of organic oranges.
Yeah.
Some honey. A little bit of salt. I'm going to put a sprig of rosemary in, some cloves, some cinnamon.
Anything, really. Just chuck anything in there.
No, I'm following the recipe and then adding a sprig of rosemary.
It's a special fried rice of marmalades.
But apparently, it's obviously going to be really probiotic-y, and it's going to have tons of vitamin C and loads of phytochemicals. Everything that gets fermented gets stronger.
But
so it's just awesome.
I'm loving it. And the 8-year-old boy Digby, he enjoyed a bit of fermented sauerkraut tonight, didn't he?
He loved it, didn't he?
He liked it. He really liked it.
I was very surprised.
Yeah, me too. And as well as what you're saying about us having to get used to not having some things we like, there are a few new things coming into the repertoire, which
definitely.
has been a really, really nice move.
My sourdough bread.
Sourdough bread's one of them. The citrus balls, they nearly got cleared completely, didn't they?
Yeah.
He took a handful of those tonight, then went back to his Nintendo with a handful of citrus balls. So there's a few new things coming in, as well as having to go without some other things in the future.
Yeah, I think, we're kind of doing the best we can, really.
So M for mutt. That little fella's coming on nicely, isn't he?
He's getting big.
Mongrel mutt, Jimmy Ruffin.
Yeah.
He is getting big, isn't he?
He is.
And
he's getting a bit for his boots as well.
He'll go through those cocky phases, I'm sure, and need to know his place in the pecking order. But I've got to say, and the picture of you and him is on the cover art for this podcast.
Oh, you're kidding.
You guys seem to be getting on nicely.
Oh, shush.
Are you falling for him a little bit?
No.
Are you sure?
Not at all.
Are you
it's
sure?
just, I'd been working upstairs and I came downstairs and he came running towards me and kind of like jumped up into my arms almost.
Yep, beautiful, isn't it? You see, you don't get that from a cat.
Yes, you do.
You don't. You get a cat looks at you thinking, like, where the hell have you been? I'm hungry.
No, cats do that.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But anyway, I won't, kind of labour the point.
But it is a nice photo, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of a spark developing between you and the puppy.
He's a bit stinky.
But he's doing well. He's good, and he's actually taken a couple of years off. The older one, she's really taken to him, and sort of taken to mix animal analogies. She's taken him under her wing.
Yeah.
She doesn't have wings because that would be
weird.
She'd be in the circus. But it's been lovely. Dear old Peggy and Jimmy are getting on very nicely, like an old couple, Peg and Jim.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, but M for mucus, possibly. If there's anything else you want to add.
Well, that starts with an M.
M for muddle. The days are muddled up. I really have to think hard about what day of the week it is at the moment.
Yeah.
You asked me, didn't you, as well? Is it Thursday? Just to confirm earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because, I remember 10 years ago when I was in Bali, did I mention I lived there?
Oh, God, here we go.
I remember I've been there about...
We should have a jingle for
every time
Bali anecdote. Yeah.
I remember being really shocked when some dude, I was there for about 2 weeks or something, and some dude just went past me on a moped and yelled, "Hey, missus, what day of the week is it?" And I couldn't believe that there were people out there that didn't know the day of the week. But I mean, up until that point, I've been pretty sheltered, really. And now I have no idea even of the date. And my profession's an astrologer, which is bonkers, because you'd think I'd be aware of what day it was as well as the date. But half the time I really don't know. I've just got to...
You've got to go and look it up.
Yeah, I've got to look it up. And I'm cool with that. It's cool.
Well, what we're working towards, I suppose, is that there's only today.
Yeah, that keeps repeating itself.
Yeah, and that was always the case, wasn't it, before we classified them all as different?
Yeah, the sun came up, it was day.
Yeah, and they went back down again.
Yeah.
Or whatever the mechanics are of the of the cosmos.
Yeah.
So pretty. I mean, we had a roller coaster ride in the last 24 hours emotionally. But we're back to an up position, I would say.
Yeah.
As in, not in heightened emotions, but upbeat. And I think that's par for the course.
Can I just leave with one M word?
Depends.
Miracle.
Oh, okay, go on.
It's miraculous, walking out into our gardens at the moment, seeing seedlings bursting through at the moment.
Yeah.
It feels like there's hundreds of miracles bestowing themselves on us. It's kind of great. I'm just hoping that, we've got the room or the time or whatever to look after them all and be able to eat them in not so long, because we're going to need to.
Yes, indeed, or share them with the neighbours. Although you've been told not to do a do-gooder thing and leave your surplus seedlings.
Yeah, I said to my neighbour, who is Portuguese, I said, because we've got a bench outside our gaff, and I said, if we have a surplus, we were thinking of leaving our surplus out on the bench. She was horrified. Don't you do that. She just basically said we'd be ruined in town. It just wouldn't work. It would embarrass people. But it's really weird because in Devon, when we were in Devon, people used to leave stuff out and say, "Help yourself, pet," and stuff like that. And
pet, people don't say
not
pet.
Maid.
My maid or lover.
Help yourself, be maid.
Where's your maid?
All right, maid.
Here we have some seedlings there, maid darling. Yeah.
Not pet. Okay, so maid. Or, they might even just have a donations box, like they used to
Yes,
outside of,
that's right.
what's its name?
Honesty box, yeah.
Yeah, nice honesty box. But we won't be doing that then. But we'll do
Well,
something
lucky
else.
you were saved from massive disgrace in the town.
Yeah, we'll just ferment whatever we've got surplus of.
Yeah.
We're going to have loads of cans and jars by then, aren't we?
And all that cabbage, fantastic. and by way of, a final M to show you how you kind of,
It's miracle, not good enough.
Well, I'm raising your miracle. I thought, yeah, obviously you can't raise the miracle.
Take your miracle and raise it to a what?
No, I'm gonna sort of be the yin to your yang, or the
You're gonna be the mother.
Well, I'm going to say M for mosquito, because as obviously as things heat up, we want the better weather to grow the food, but then always all of life is a cycle of good and bad and light and dark and yin and yang, isn't it? And mixed blessings. And, along with the miracle comes the mosquito. And, there's always something, isn't there? There's always something to create contrast and a dynamic in our lives.
Yeah.
Obviously, and that you couldn't wish.
Man.
But, that's how it is at the moment, isn't it? That we are in extreme contrast. Like I said, where we came in with this podcast, the great levels of goodness and kindness and compassion, and obviously the great suffering and impact upon people as well. It's just amazing. It's just that's kind of how it is for us human beings, I guess.
Yeah.
And on that note, on that highly philosophical note,
I was going to say on that a bit of a downer, really. Like
really?
After the miracle, like how can you? Sorry, we might be about to have another argument.
Yeah, excuse us. Goodbye.